Hey guys, Lost here. Now, quite some time ago, I made a list of some top 5 Hearts of Iron 4 mods. I might have missed some on that list. Also, there have been quite a few new mods as well, so this is my new list for top 5 mods. Hope you guys enjoy. So starting off at number 5 is a mod that you've already been seeing here in the intro, and that is Pax Britannica. This mod starts in 1936 and takes place in a world where the United States never existed. The American Revolution did not succeed. As a result, the British Empire still has a very dominant role in the world. There is a whole bunch of lore that goes to it as well. The creator of the mod made out a whole list of lore from the beginning, starting at the American Revolution, all the way up through when this mod starts. Everything from how the Entente managed to win World War I and everything in between. It's super neat and it's kind of an interesting read. Without even looking at the mechanics of the game, you can see that there are quite a few changes. Europe is all sectioned off, and that is due to World War I ending the way it did, which is part of the lore. You can read about that. The Americas also look completely different. This mod features new nations, new ideologies, new events for ideological changes, and some new generic focus trees. Now, what I mean by that is all of the countries have essentially the same focus tree. However, it is revamped, it's been enhanced. There are far more options for different routes you can take as your countries, different ways you can kind of expand your ideologies in your countries and take control of new mechanics. So they are generic, but they are far different than what the original game offers. There are some more planned features for this mod, like new focus trees for the major and minor factions, other than just the generic ones I have now. There will be new events, new advisors, and more new mechanics. At number 4 is another super cool alternate history mod, and this one is called Red World. In this mod, it answers the question, what if the Soviet Union had won the Cold War? So instead of the USSR collapsing and fracturing apart, the United States now collapses and has a bunch of new countries. With this mod starting in 2010, it has some features from the Millennium New Dawn mod. There are also new ideologies implemented as well, but that is not all. Many of the major countries already have their own unique focus trees, so the Soviet Union, the American Republic, Ethiopia, United Kingdom, and Italy all are completely unique and detailed. What really amazes me about this mod is really the focus tree part of it, because especially in the United States, they have so many new countries that you don't usually think of the United States being split up like that. There's different ones where you can reform the Confederacy, you can do things with Texas since it is its own nation in this mod. Also, usually a main focus in the Hearts of Iron game is you're trying to like dominate all of Europe or dominate, essentially the world. Well, when you start off as the USSR, you pretty much own all of Europe to begin with, which is a super interesting place to start at the beginning of the game. At number 3, we have another Cold War mod, except this time it is not after the Cold War. This starts at the beginning of the Cold War in 1949. This mod is called Cold War: The Iron Curtain. So unlike the vanilla game, which spans, 5 or 6 years during World War II, this actually takes place about the entire 20 or 30 year span during the Cold War, from the 50s all the way up through the 70s and 80s. With over 30,000 subscribers on Steam, this is a very well put together mod. It looks great, it runs very well, and there are over a dozen focus trees, all unique for a bunch of different countries. You really get to decide the fate of history with this mod and go back and play how the Cold War kind of plays out. You can play as the Soviet Union, or you can play as the United States, or either side of the Cold War. What's cool about this is that even though it is already so well put together, they are still working on it, and they plan to end the mod at around the year 1990 or 2000, depending how you play it. So you have a potential to play over 50 years of Hearts of Iron put together in one game. This mod even has its own music added, and I am a sucker for some good in-game music. In the Iron Curtain, you have a cool opportunity to play a legitimate World War III scenario, and for most people, that is the time zone they thought World War III would probably happen. Though there is some work still being done on the mod, I think this is definitely one of the most put together and most well done Cold War mods out there. Now at number 2 is a mod called Endsieg, which means Ultimate Victory in German. The word Endsieg was commonly used during World War I and World War II, though mostly during World War II as Nazi propaganda to show their ultimate victory at the end of the war. Endsieg gives you a couple of different scenarios to start at throughout World War II, where you can try and change the outcome of the Nazi advance through Europe. I know you might be thinking, well, what's the point? I can just play as the Germans normally in the game, so why is this one so important? Well, this mod adds far more historical accuracy and depth to the game. In the vanilla game, it's really hard to kind of pick certain points in history and play from there because of all the leeway you get as a player. But in here, you can actually pick a few certain points and see if starting there will change the outcome, which is pretty cool in my opinion. As you can see here, I started in March of 1945 with the Allies bearing down in the west and the Soviets kicking down my door to the east. If you can pull off a victory from this point in the war, I would be extremely impressed because I certainly couldn't. Some more scenarios that are planned to be added in the future are some scenarios from World War I, for example, the Somme in 1916, and some other points during World War I, and maybe even the interwar period, which is super cool. Now, unlike the other mods I've talked about so far today, this mod does not have any new focus trees, though some are being worked on. In NSEG, though, however, there is a fantastically redone tech tree. There are also dozens of brand new historically accurate events that take place throughout the campaign. Personally, I really like the historical accuracy aspect of this mod, and it completely gives a new way to play this game. And finally, at number 1, we have the ultimate alternate history mod. I can't believe this wasn't my number 1 before, but this mod is called Kaiser Reich. Have you ever asked the question, well, what would have happened had Germany won World War I? I don't think I've seen a mod out there that answers it just as well as this mod does. With over 200,000 subscribers on Steam, this is one of the most well done and one of the most popular Hearts of Iron mods out there. Simply put, there is a lot of effort and content put into this mod. There is a whole lore that has been written out for it that has completely changed the way the world works, which is something else no mod creator I've seen in Hearts of Iron has ever done on this scale before. Everything in this mod has changed, from the tech trees, the focus trees, the country flags, the country names, the political leaders are all unique to this mod. Without the political shifts that had happened during World War I, in Kaiser Reich, a lot of the old world rulers have remained the same, only now there is a new ideology that is creeping onto the scene, and that is communism. A new fight is about to take place where you can decide to change the world's government and shift to a new ideology or try and hold on to the old ones. In this world, democracy is not a very strong ideology. Even the United States, though it is democratic at first, will be gripped within a brutal civil war of 4 factions. However, that is for you to play and find out for yourself. So we are getting to the end here. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think in the comments below. By the way, if you want to join my Destiny 2 clan, there will be a link in the description. I will see you guys later.